It's time for another round of live, local, play-by-play coverage of Southwest Metro Sports on PSB Media.
Taken away by Spinner, potential shorthanded opportunity. Here comes Steven Spinner, the captain. Shot.
Oh! Great blocks in front of him, just waits for him to develop, breaks an arm tackle, and he'll dive for the end zone.
Watch the teamwork, tradition, and all-out competition unfold live on any streaming device.
Annie with it, gives off for Zulstar through traffic. Here's an opportunity, score! Oh boy.
PSB Media's coverage of tonight's game is brought to you by The Malt Store, Umbria Gourmet Pizzeria, Athlete PT, Noodles & Company of Eden Prairie, The Sun Current, The Tavern on 4 and 5, and in partnership with Minnesota Football Magazine, the Pioneer Press, and BEC TV.
And it drops! The game is over! Forest Lake wins 1-0 in the bottom of the 10th. Brett Gravel is the hero.
Catch all of the action all season long on your home for Southwest Metro Sports. PSB Media.
Brady, new up from his defense. We'll leave it for Graham. Graham works his way and scores in overtime. Michael Graham with the game.
Game time is coming up next.
Smith.
Hello and welcome to Les Barnard Field in Minneapolis. Kevin Ford, Dr. Grant Norland, Brett Johnson, and the PSB Media crew are happy to bring you the season opener of the 2014 football season. It'll be the only game of the night and features the three-time Big School defending state champion Eden Prairie Eagles taking on Minneapolis Conference team Minneapolis South, head coached by Lenny Sedlock. Now, these two teams do have a little bit of history together as we welcome you to the broadcast. South has often in recent years under the head coaching of Sedlock liked to play Eden Prairie during that non-conference slate. Dr. Grant Norland, kind of odd when you consider other teams in the state refuse to play Lake Conference teams in Eden Prairie. It's been Minneapolis South that's now played them 3 times in the last 4 years, and their head coach, again, Lenny Sedlock, says it's just a great opportunity. I would play them every year if I could.
Right. Tonight's official,
well, it is an
our Chad Crosby
for
referee,
you know,
Bob
that's up to them
Detterman,
for stepping
umpire,
up to the plate against
Steve Zins, back
obviously
judge,
a more powerful
Kevin
opponent.
Schaefer, head linesman, and Kyle
Obviously, no
Stefan,
one's
line
expecting them
judge.
to come out with a win on this one, but certainly, it's a great opportunity for them to see what they got against one of the best teams in the state, and certainly a team that's ranked nationally as well.
And for both of these teams, a fair amount of turnover. Of course, if you're keeping track, for Eden Prairie fans, new quarterback, several new offensive linemen, brand new running back replacing the triumvirate of talent in Charlie Venable, Dan Fisher, and Anthony Anderson from last year. That threesome this year looking to do some damage will be Will Raines, the transfer from Eastview High School, collected nearly 3,000 rushing yards over his last 2 seasons at Eastview and over 35 touchdowns. Joe Harstad and Bilal Omar will be the 3 running backs in the backfield. We'll talk more about the starting lineups and expectations for this game, but we are underway from Les Barnard Field. South receives the kick, going right to left, and Peyton Beaudry, featured running back for this South Tigers squad, with the return, a decent gain out to about the 25-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10. Getting a first look at this Minneapolis South offense, they're led by 3-year starter Anthony Hockett. He was all-conference for the Minneapolis Conference a season ago and leading South to a 3-6 record. Pretty good numbers, 44% on the completion percentage, but nearly 1,000 yards passing and 9 touchdowns to go with 189 rushing yards. He'll hand the ball off to the up back, who's stuffed immediately at the line of scrimmage. That'll be a big storyline tonight for you, Grant, and all the listeners as well. You just look at the sizes of these offensive linemen for Eden Prairie, and we'll mention some names in a moment, versus the defensive starters and vice versa, Eden Prairie versus South. It's night and day, the size differential. It's going through the offensive starters for Eden Prairie. Kyle Rademacher, 260 pounds. Joe Fanning, 215. Nemasek, 235. Swanson, 250. Dylan Warner, 270 on their offensive line. Now, comparatively for South, their biggest guy is Nang Lure, the right tackle, at 260 pounds. Everyone else is 200 pounds or less. As the second down play, again, immediately stopped in the backfield. Good pursuit by Eden Prairie. And it'll be a short loss on the play, bringing up third down and long.
Yeah, you talk about that mismatch on the line of scrimmage. A lot of games are, they always say they're won and lost on the line of scrimmage. That's never more true than in high school, and you can already see that Eden Prairie's got a dominating force on the line of scrimmage compared to South's offensive line.
So third down and 11. As Hockett, an offset back. Two offset backs in the backfields. Wide receivers split out, one to each side. Takes the handoff, rolls out left, on the run. Ball is tipped and batted away. Good defense there
Fourth down and 11
by
for
the
Tigers.
quarterback, Ben Price of Eden Prairie, a junior, one of the few juniors that's on the starting lineups for Eden Prairie, either offensively or defensively. He's done a nice job in the summer camps in earning that spot. Fourth down now, and South will punt the football. Again, here live, the start of this high school football season. And South produces a 3-and-out. The punt nearly blocked. And J.D. Spielman catches it on the run, breaks one tackle, and then gets dragged down by the jersey right in front of the South bench. A great field position for this high-octane Eden Prairie offense as they start about 2 minutes into this first quarter.
28.
Just want to mention tomorrow night we'll have coverage from Park Center of the Pirates versus Bloomington Kennedy. Kennedy part of that new Metro West Conference, joining Chaska, Chanhassen, Benilde St. Margaret's, St. Louis Park, realigning with Richfield, and of course keeping pace and that rivalry alive with Jefferson as well. First down carry, Raines, nice sidestep, gets out into the open field, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown. One play, and Eden Prairie is on the scoreboard. Will Raines, a great touchdown machine at Eastview, collects his first as a member of the Eden Prairie Eagles.
Well, it doesn't look like EP's missed much of a beat from last season. Looks like they've just kind of picked right up where they left off. They got a short field there like they typically do, and punching it in on one play. It might be a long night for South.
Yeah, remembering last year against Elk River, I believe the first play of the game as well was a touchdown.
Yeah,
it was a 65-yard pass, something like that, to Gamil Hall from Ryan Connolly.
That's right.
And the first rush of the game as well, I think, went for 40 yards and an Anthony Anderson touchdown. So again, the explosiveness of this Eden Prairie offense on hand here from Minneapolis South. The extra point is good from Brandon Gould. Saw a little bit of playing time last year, spelling Cody Getz on occasion. And Eden Prairie is out to an early 7-0 lead. 10:01 to play in the first as you're listening to PSB Media.
Woohoo! This is the best dirt bath ever!
Larry, what's with all that racket?
I'm loving my new digs. This compost is amazing. Come on in, give it a try.
What are you talking about? Oh yeah, you weren't kidding, Larry. This stuff is great.
The Mulch Store has compost your garden, and yes, even the worms will love. Stop by any of the Mulch Store locations in Burnsville, Minnetrista, Rosemount, and Shakopee to pick up the best compost in the Midwest. Online at mulchstoremn.com. Also shop rocks, seed, soil, edging, and more. Now's the time to make your neighbors green with envy.
Store locations in Burnsville, Minnetrista, Rosemount, and Shakopee.
So 7-0, Eden Prairie is leading if you're just joining us. Welcome you to the broadcast, our first of this 2014-15 school year. In fact, South is already in session. The kids started school on Monday. Kind of hard to believe. Summer always goes by much faster than it should here in the great state of Minnesota. Eden Prairie kids will start next Tuesday after Labor Day. The kickoff will be fielded by Peyton Baldry. Makes a couple players miss on the Eagles side, and then is taken down right, almost smack dab in the middle of the field, going east to west. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Tigers offense, it looks like from the 20-21-yard line.
Yeah, and here we're going to get another look at this senior-dominated defensive line for Eden Prairie, who made quick work of them on a 3-and-out last possession, and you see they go, they've got pretty good size up front, although their defensive ends are a little smaller than what a lot of typical D-lines you see at this level. You got Jake Halverson at only 5'10", 200 on the one end, but he's clearly holding his own out there right now.
Trying a running play again against that very stout defensive line. As Grant mentioned, maybe a little undersized on the edges, but in fact, two of the better players defensively are those two smaller guys for Eden Prairie. And if you remember last year, I think Nate Becker, he was under 200 pounds, and he was a very good defensive end as well, also a fantastic wrestler. So it's not always the size that matters.
14 for the Tigers.
That's very true.
2nd down and 13 after a 3-yard loss. Baldry has not yet been able to get going. Last season, he rushed for, just pulling up the stats, 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. On a 2nd down pass, the ball is batted away. Good contest there by Matt Carson. He's back, saw a lot of opportunities, playing time down the stretch for the Eagles last year as a junior. Made a couple interceptions, including one, I believe, in the Prep Bowl, 28-7 victory over Rosemount. And the 6', 180-pounder forces a 3rd down and long situation now from the 22-yard line of the Tigers.
Tigers have a 3rd and 14.
Before the game, in a moving ceremony, South honored passed away Shaquem Adams, 15-year-old, who drowned in Lake Nokomis at the beginning of the month. Gave his family a varsity letter jacket of the football with the football logo.
7 yards by Baldry.
He was probably going to make the varsity team, and unfortunate loss. It's affected some of the practices in August for South as they try to regroup, but head coach Lenny Sedlock says this group is very resilient, and part of the positivity he has looking forward, at least within the conference, is thinks the team is very well meshed together. They have good charisma, and they listen well as well. So that's very important as a head coach when you're looking at some of the players.
You always appreciate that.
Punt goes to about midfield. J.D. Spielman running east to west. Looking for a blocker, spins around one South tackler, breaks through a couple more, still going on the far sideline, cuts it back, one man to beat, breaks it on a hand tackle and finds his way into the end zone. Eden Prairie is up 13-0 on a 52-yard punt return touchdown for the junior.
Wow, that was a well-blocked return, but he made some great moves on that play. If there were any college scouts watching this one, that opened their eyes a little bit.
Yeah, Brett Johnson here joining you on the broadcast. You can see there on replay just breaking a bunch of hand tackles, and that's going to be awfully tough to bring down Spielman with those kinds of arms. Definitely got to get your whole body into that as he returns it for a touchdown.
J.D. Spielman also in the season opener last year had a punt return touchdown, so how about that? He loves the first game of the season.
Yeah, exactly.
Extra point try by Gould is up, and he misses it, pushes it wide right. So the score will remain 13-0 with 8:03 left. You're listening to PSB Media. We'll be back after this. after a 52-yard punt return touchdown from the junior J.D. Spielman, a verbal commit to Ohio State for lacrosse, so could potentially join his older brother Ronnie, who committed there a couple months ago. Eden Prairie with a 12-0 lead. First, I thought it was an extra point try that was good on the first touchdown, that 28-yard run from Will Raines, but now the scoreboard showing 12-0. A little bit of a oopsie-daisy there by the kickoff specialist for Eden Prairie. Brandon Gould kicks that one out of bounds. Illegal procedure will give South its best field position of this game so far. First two drives not really doing anything. Again, we talk about that size differential on the offensive line versus the defensive line, South to Eden Prairie. And just when you're undersized and you've got a very skilled team, especially on that front four, it's hard to really do anything, get anything going. And already with the 12-0 deficit, maybe going to be looking to the air or perhaps a little bit more as this game progresses. So Hockett, the quarterback for the Tigers, digs in under center. Got two wideouts, one on each side. He'll roll out left and be spilled in the backfield. Great hand tackle there, just the strength of Bill Koob. Wearing number 9 this year, 42 last year, and he was a very impactful player in the linebacking core for the Eagles in their championship run. As you see on the replay, just great strength there to pull down a pretty shifty quarterback.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's a pretty good runner. He looks like a good athlete out there, but there was just nowhere to go on that one.
So 2nd down and 20. The Tigers still looking for their first positive play of the game. It's their 8th play of this contest. 7:16 to play and counting. Hockett pitches it. Beaudry tries to slide toward that gap between the center and guard, but nothing doing. Good closeout of that space by the linebacking core of the Eagles. And he's spilled for maybe a half-yard gain.
Yeah, South just has no push on the offensive line right now. They can't seem to drive Eden Prairie off the ball at all. And Eden Prairie is probably one of the more disciplined teams we're going to see, especially in their line play. You know, they do a great job with assignment football, and you know, so far we're seeing that come to fruition here.
Again, the discrepancy. Severino, Gene Banks, and Jordan Medlock on one side of this South line all weigh 175 pounds or less. So it's going to be hard to try to anchor and get some push forward against these Eden Prairie Eagles. An interception after a juggle by number 23, Blake Cashman, and he's going for the end zone. And he's able to score it easily and give Eden Prairie now a 3-touchdown lead.
A good read there from Blake Cashman. He's going to be one of the better players here on the Eden Prairie football squad this year, getting a lot of press in some of the publications and able to get a pick 6 here to start the season. Got to feel good for him playing back there on defense.
Gould for the point after.
Absolutely. That's a thrill for any defensive back to get a pick and take it to the end zone. That's what they dream about all off season, just that moment when they can pick it off and have some green in front of them.
Flags fly before the extra point try from Gould.
It's funny, I think number 10, I can't quite get the name on him. I think that's about the second time he's done that at an extra point where he's been about 2 yards offsides, a little bit ahead of the snap. This time they finally caught him.
That's Kyle Evans, junior defensive back. Getting a little overzealous, trying to maybe block the extra point.
Well, it worked last time. He put the pressure on him and made him miss it wide.
As he really tries to get his timing down.
They got a false start, so he did a good job to make one of the linemen move. Gould's kick ends up looking like it got partially deflected. Comes up well short and wide left. So some struggles for special teams right now, at least in the kicking aspect of things for Eden Prairie. Everything else looking sunny as they lead 18-0 over South. You're watching PSB. Gould with the kickoff again. He'll push this one out of bounds, trying to place that kickoff right schematic. And the senior again could not keep it in the field of play. Back-to-back times on the illegal procedure will set up South at the 35-yard line where they'll go 1st and 10. Still trying to gain more than a half yard on any particular play so far. 9 total plays run, and by my unofficial estimation, negative 19 total yards. Eden Prairie has done a little bit of everything with this 18-0 advantage. Just one offensive play to speak of. That was a 28-yard touchdown run on the first play of the game for the Eagles. And they got a 52-yard touchdown on a punt return from J.D. Spielman. And most recently, prior to the break, a approximately 42-yard interception return for a touchdown from senior Blake Cashman. On the pitch out, good job on the penetration. J.D. Spielman got up right away into the fullback blocking of Connor Leach that kind of altered the routes of the tailback. And Eden Prairie was able to finish up from there rather easily. A 5-yard loss on the rush from Peyton Baldry.
Yeah, that was a great team defensive play right there. Spielman just sealed the edge there on that attempt to get outside, and the linebacker came in and cleaned him up from the inside out. That's pretty much textbook team defense right there.
It'll be interesting to see as this game progresses how Mike Grant manages his players. If you're not familiar, playing Oak Park from Manitoba coming up on Saturday at 1 o'clock. So traditionally don't play more than a game once per week. I mean, occasionally you think about the NFL, for instance. You might play Sunday and then Thursday. But just a 3-day gap between those two games. How long will his starters play, and how many of them will also suit up on Saturday?
Right. You got to think they're going to treat this kind of like an NFL preseason game. They're going to play their starters for the first quarter, maybe the first 3 or 4 series, although their offense has only been on the field for one play so far, so we'll see.
It's hard to get a true estimation of how the offense is.
But that's the way it goes, so we'll see how they do that. I think they'll probably treat it like that situation. They'll put in the second team here and let them get some reps, and obviously they've got bigger games down the road where they won't get as many opportunities, so to give them some looks and see how their roster wants to shake out to start the season here.
Of course, it's also very fun for all the families involved to maybe see a player third on the depth chart to get into some action, either in this game possibly or on Saturday as well.
Absolutely.
On that second down 15 run following the timeout, 18-0 your score, as you can see on our score tracker.
Yeah, I do apologize. I'm trying to run the computer here. We had to switch our resolution at the last second before he got on air, so we should have that score bug ready to go here in just a few minutes, where you'll be able to see down, distance, and all that stuff you typically see on a network-style broadcast.
You see an ampersand?
We're working on it.
It helps me. I know there's a scoreboard and a clock.
That's what it's there for. That's pretty good.
Third down and 15 from the 27. Hockett in the backfield joining him. Appears to be Connor Leach. And the snap mishandled by Hockett. He'll scoop it up, continue to roll, but not get very far. Eden Prairie all over the quarterback, stuffing him for a huge loss. Tackle will be credited to, looks like Scott McNeil, the defensive end and a senior. So we'll give Scott McNeil the second sack of the game for this Eagles defense that's come up very strong in the early going.
It was interesting when I looked at the Eden Prairie roster heading into the season. They had more guys returning than I thought they did, especially looking at the defensive side of the ball. A lot of big names returning, like Bill Coop, Scott McNeil, who just had the sack, Blake Cashman, J.D. Spielman. You have to think for sure Eden Prairie might have the best defensive team here in the entire state, and certainly looking like it so far in this one.
For McNeil, that's a very impressive 22-yard sack. As again, the ball was mishandled on the snap. Shotgun formation for Hockett. This time, different return man. Matthew Snyder caught that one and just took a knee just onto the Tigers' side of the field, where Eden Prairie's offense will see them again work, see what they can do in this offensive series, just their second of the game.
You know what's funny, guys? Going back to last season, that Elk River opener, I think Eden Prairie averaged a touchdown like once every 2 plays. They're beating that average in this game.
They are. I think in that game they also had 4 players. The first time they touched the ball in the game, it went for more than 40 yards.
Joe Harstad on the carry for the Eagles.
Well, they stopped him that time.
Tigers.
I couldn't quite see the play on that one, but it looked like somebody must have missed an assignment a little bit on that one.
Yeah, let's see if we can.
Several guys get blown off the ball.
Yeah, tough to tell there, Grant.
Slipped a block, it looked like, and made the play on that one.
Joe Harstad split some time between the JV and varsity last year. This run goes to the outside, showing off his great speed is Bilal Omar, who is a impact player in the later going of that Eden Prairie Championship success last season. I believe he rushed for about 20 carries last year. Yeah, 20 carries for 138 yards, making good on that average to start this season, collecting a gain of about 20 on his first carry of the game. 1st and 10 for Eden Prairie from the south 15-yard line. Gallard gives the handoff to the up back. Short gain there for Joe Harstad. Down to about the 10-yard line. Pickup of 5. As I mentioned, Joe Harstad. Split time between JV and varsity last year. Got into a couple games. Had 2 carries, 15 yards, and a touchdown. And Brett, you mentioned, Eden Prairie is returning a fair number of players. If they weren't starters last year defensively, they at least made significant contributions. So certainly can go a long way in getting this team to pick up where they left off last year and really in the past few years being a 3-time defending champion.
Hey guys, I have a couple of emails so far in the game. Nikki sent us an email saying that J.D. Spielman going to play lacrosse in Ohio. Kevin, I think I saw that in your notes, so I know you were aware of that fact. And also a message from Linda Lanasa saying that Josh Lanasa celebrated his 18th birthday 2 days ago. So he's legal, guys.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Josh.
18th birthday, always a big one.
Well, I think it's always fun to have it when you're not in school as well. I had the fortunate timing of my birthday to generally have it over spring break. Touchdown by Eden Prairie pushes their lead to 24-0 pending the extra point.
Which they haven't made one of those yet. I'm guessing that's going to be a point of emphasis in practice next week.
Yeah, I
think
think
2
so.
kickoffs out of bounds and 3 missed field goals. So it's about the only flaw we've seen out of them yet tonight. So imagine they'll put some extra time into that this week.
And there's another flag before the kick.
Yeah, it's that guy timing up the rush. He's coming off the edge, almost like a forward motion in arena football. And that's really throwing off that up back on the Eden Prairie's left side there and causing him to jump off sides. It's kind of an unorthodox defense move there. But appears to be working so far. So
it's a good
throwing
strategy.
him off.
Like sending up one of your scouts in Stratego or something to check on what's going on.
It's like arena football where you see those wide receivers get a running start.
Yeah.
You're right, Grant. It's really throwing off the kicking game.
And this try is good, and I saw with my own eyes. It split the uprights, 25-0. Finally, the special teams gets the extra point converted. Eden Prairie on top as you're watching PSB Media.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dennis Lansley, Clinic Administrator and Care Coordinator for Advocare Clinics located in Bloomington, Minnesota. I'd like to invite you to come on in for a free consultation to see how we could best serve you with our medical, chiropractic, and physical therapy services. Whether your problem is from an acute injury or a chronic pain management issue, we feel we can help you. Please give us a call, check us out on the internet, and come on in to see how we can best serve your needs.
Contact us at 952-835-6653 or online at advocaremn.com.
Following the 1-yard touchdown plunge from Eden Prairie, the Eagles and defending champions now have a 25-0 lead on Minneapolis South. It's a very special night. Of course, the only football game taking place on a Wednesday evening, this very evening. A lot of the games during week 1 begin on Thursday, but rescheduling allowed Eden Prairie to take on South Wednesday night. So tell all your friends they've got nothing better to do. There's no other sports going on. They can tune in to this broadcast here live from Les Barnard Field. Eden Prairie, the 3-time defending champions, taking on Minneapolis South. And for Minneapolis South, a special night, too, as well. Just the 3rd time in their history that they're playing under the lights. And for starting quarterback Anthony Hockett, he's been a part of and started in every single one of those games. But for those newbies, new to the program, or just even fans coming back, making their way back here for this evening, a special opportunity, and also a good chance to see a great halftime performance. The pep band and dance team for Eden Prairie will perform. I know talking to the coach of the Tigers, Lenny Sedlock, he says it's just phenomenal. The kind of performances Eden Prairie can put together for their halftime shows. I know Brett and Grant watching those performances at Prairie Stadium last year. They were tons of fun. So we really look for quite a bit of a festival and spectacle here tonight. And hopefully for South, they can get the offense going. Did pick up a 3-yard gain from Beaudry on first down, so it'll be 2nd and 7 from the 28-yard line. A toss out right. Beaudry able to make one guy miss, showing off some speed and athleticism, and picks up the first down of the game for the Tigers.
Let's take a look at that pitch to the right side, getting some good blocks out there against those Eden Prairie linebackers. Nice run to get a first down and some positive yardage here for Minneapolis South, guys.
Yeah, Ben Olson, it looked like, was in at defensive end for the Eagles, and he just got beaten to that spot around the edge. Nice job by Beaudry to outmaneuver Olson and pick up that first down. So 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line after a 15-yard run. And Hockett working under center before he gets the snap away. There's flags in the backfield. False start called against the Tigers.
Don't like a false start with 1 second left in the quarter when it's about to expire. That's awfully rough.
Could have just walked off the field.
One of those things you have to iron out in that first game. False starts, but again, that especially hurts here against the Eden Prairie defense. When the quarter is essentially going to expire, you take an ill-timed penalty to back yourselves up 5 yards.
Well, if you remember, Eden Prairie is very good at clock management toward the end of quarters. Last year against Wayzata, they ran that extra play with the wind at their backs. Threw that 66-yard touchdown pass to one Ray Wilson.
I very distinctly remember that play. Wayzata didn't have anybody back. EP had like 3 wide receivers wide open down the field. Totally uncovered.
Any one of them could have caught that for the touchdown.
Makes your job as a quarterback easy.
Yeah. Brian Connolly's given up the quarterbacking, though. Walk on at Wisconsin-Madison as a linebacker. Run to the outside. Can't quite gain the corner as Brian Palmer rushes for just the 2nd time in this game.
On the tackle for the Eagles.
Ressman with the tackle for Eden Prairie. Looks like a short loss on the play, or short gain, rather. The quarter is over, so we'll take a break. Hear a word from our sponsors. Eden Prairie on top of the Tigers, 25-0 after 1.
And we're joined by Rob Friend at the Mulch Store. Rob, a lot of people are finishing up those fall projects, whether it's trimming trees or getting rid of all those leaves. What can people do with those materials once they're done?
Well, they can bring their yard waste into any of our locations and dispose of it for a small fee. And after it's disposed of, we then process it and turn it into compost.
It's also a very easy, straightforward process to stop in at any of those Mulch Store locations, correct?
You just pull into any of the sites, you check in with the gate attendant and pay your small fee, and you're all set to go.
And if people would like more information about the great products and services the Mulch Store offers, what's your website?
mulchstoremn.com.
PSB Media's coverage of tonight's game is brought to you by The Mulch Store, Umbria Gourmet Pizzeria, Athlete PT, Noodles and Company of Eden Prairie, The Sun Current, The Tavern on 4 and 5, and in partnership with Minnesota Football Magazine, the Pioneer Press, and BEC TV.
Minneapolis South will begin the second quarter. 2nd and 14 from their 39-yard line. Hockett rolls out to his right and completes it for the first completion of the game for either side, finding his junior.
That was a nice
running
play
back
by
Connor
Hockett
Leach.
there. Yep. That's got to be their strategy here, is to get to the edge. I think they started figuring that out at the end of the quarter. They're not going to beat these guys up front in the middle. They've got to try to outflank them, get to the outside. They've got some good athletes on the edges. They've got to just find a way to get to the outside, get the ball to their athletes in some space, and hope they can get some yards from out there. They've got a pretty good athletic quarterback there that can get out. If he can get on the edge, he might be able to get some guys in open space.
Yeah, you already see the formation changes for this offense. 3 wide receivers in the game. As Hockett tries a quick handoff and instead loses the football. Eden Prairie all over it. And already seeing a couple of backups in this contest for Eden Prairie. Joe Cavaney recovers the fumble for Eden Prairie. The offense will be back out on the field momentarily.
Yeah, you could see Hockett just mishandled the snap there. You can see that replay, and unfortunately, just when South had a couple of decent plays, that happens. The turnover monster came and got him.
Yeah, I don't know, Grant, if you could see that. It looked like he was trying to pitch it before he had the snap in his hands.
Yeah, I think he just bobbled it. He didn't have quite a full grip on it as he came away from center there, and you're right, as he tried to pitch it, he just dropped it. So unfortunately for them, that gives Eden Prairie good field position once again.
Gillard, the quarterback, still finds a newly inserted tailback, keeps the legs churning, picks up just a couple of yards. Good job wrestling him down. Number 11 on the defensive side of things for South, Ellerson Smith. Ellerson Smith, a junior, one of those guys that Lenny Sedlock, the Tigers head coach, has possibly high D2 college potential. And Nick Saul, just updating you, was the one who had that carry. Saw some varsity action a few times last season. Fakes the handoff. Gillard throws over the middle, a wide open receiver is number 85. He'll break one tackle. Josh Lanasa, recently turned 18, picks up a first down and rumbles down to the 17-yard line. Great play action call from Gillard and a good catch and run from the tight ends.
You see, first time we saw them go to the air there, and it was a nice throw from Gillard, and that tight end. Who was it that made that catch?
Lanasa.
I missed that. Lanasa, yeah, it was a great catch and run by him. He's just got to put a little shake move on that guy as he gets upfield. He kind of ran straight at him, thinking he was just going to bowl him over, and he got in on his ankles and took him down.
He almost did anyways.
Yeah.
Lanasa's a big guy out there.
Yeah, listed at 6'6", 220. Maybe his mom can confirm the size. Maybe the list is, this roster maybe inflates some of the stats at all, but still a big guy. And again, Minneapolis South, very small in the secondary, so a tough matchup. Credit to that defensive back for taking down Lanasa.
Well, that's perfect size for a tight end. That's a nice big target to throw to.
2nd down and 7 for Eden Prairie, with the lead 25-0, working from the 13-yard line. Gillard hands it off to number 3 out there, Bilal Omar, and he shifts his way down to the 10-yard line, a pickup of maybe 2.
Bilal Omar, one of those guys that Eden Prairie will rely on a lot more this season. I believe last year had, I think, maybe 20, 25 carries on the year, was kind of the 5th running back that Eden Prairie used, but I have to think this season might be kind of their number 2 or number 3 guy behind Will Raines, who you would think would see the majority of the carries this season, being that he was a 1,500-yard rusher last season for Eastview.
3rd down and 5 from the 11. Gillard under center. 4-5-2 defense tries to take down the rusher, and they stop number 26 out there, Devon Bryant, just shy of the goal line. Bryant did a nice job using a block off the left guard, and just his small frame looked like it was kind of hard for Minneapolis South to find where the running back in the football was. Snuck his way all the way down to about the half-yard line. Good run there on the first carry of the varsity season for Bryant. First and goal from the 1, and easily finding his way into the end zone, number 44, Alec Hetherington. So Eden Prairie getting those backups in. Lots of opportunities for some of these 4th, 5th, 6th string running backs on this Eagles squad. Already seen a number of different names carrying the football. And now we'll try that extra point again. Brandon Gould. Get a closer look at him on this side of the football field. And the extra point try is up, and he pushes it right again. So no good. Just one extra point to be made in this game, but still, Eden Prairie in control, 31-0.
Green 18!
When you're running the 2-minute drill and trying to get dinner on the table before the big game, go to your most reliable option, Umbria Gourmet Pizzeria of Eden Prairie. Umbria has delectable and hearty gourmet take-and-bake pizzas, and build your own options too. Go Umbria.hungerrush.com. By phone 952-374-6464. Choose your pizza and score. It's that easy. Go Umbria.hungerrush.com. Umbria Gourmet Pizzeria, Mitchell Road, Eden Prairie.
Great food and great sports. It's the Tavern on 4 and 5 in Eden Prairie. This season, the Tavern on 4 and 5 will be showing PSB broadcasts of Eden Prairie football and hockey on their big screen TVs. So make it a night out. Get some great food while watching your Eden Prairie Eagles at the Tavern on 4 and 5. Some of their classics include the Mediterranean Pizza, Tavern Turkey Burger, as well as delicious breakfasts that are served 7 days a week. That's the Tavern on 4 and 5, just blocks from Eden Prairie High School.
Live from Barnard Field, you're watching PSB Media and the season opener for Minneapolis South and Eden Prairie. 3-time defending 6A champion Eagles have worked their magic so far. Just a very consistently played game. Big plays from their defense, special teams, and offense as they lead this 31-0. Baudry on the kickoff return brings it from the 4-yard line. Works through a wedge, wiggles his way up the middle, but gets stuffed pretty quickly down at the 15-yard line. Just a return of 11 yards. 7:57 showing on this first half clock. And South, we saw them on the last possession pick up one first down, nearly settle another one, but and Hockett mishandled the snap, fumbled, and it was recovered by Eden Prairie, leading this turnover battle. They're +2 in this game, but it will be interesting to see how Hockett can respond. Some of the different players being substituted in. Keep the starters fresh by Mike Grant Maybe South can get on the scoreboard. Bowdry on a running back option over the top, completes it to his.
He's gone.
Tight end Ellerson Smith, and he'll go to the house, running down the home field sideline. A 85-yard touchdown on a pass from the running back Bowdry.
Oh, man.
Wow, what a play that was. I mean, you almost got to call that lucky, but you got to feel good for these guys to get one score on the board in a game like this.
Take a look at how close that was to being tipped here on the replay. My goodness.
Ricky Fung timed that one perfectly, and it looks like it goes right through his hands into the hands of Ellerson Smith. It was off to the races, broke a diving tackle attempt by the last defender, and got everybody up on this near sideline from South. That was a reason to celebrate.
Just getting a little overly aggressive on that attempt by the DB there on that one. And that's what can happen.
Well, he smelled interception and overcommitted.
Yeah.
Just couldn't quite time the jump correctly.
Game of inches, to say the least. That was so close to being tipped, but instead goes the other way for a touchdown. And like you said, got to feel good here for Minneapolis South. Get a big crowd, probably one of the biggest crowds they've had in a number of years. First time they've played under the lights at home, and sure very thrilled to see them get a touchdown here in this night game.
Absolutely. This is a huge crowd for them out here, and it couldn't be a better night for it. I mean, 72 degrees. There's a light breeze out here. You got the skyline overlooking the field here. This is a pretty neat scene out here.
Yeah. Speaking of the crowd, you're right. The Tigers fans, it's overflow, all hanging out over by the food trucks on hand. Eden Prairie's turnout pretty solid as well, as the extra point attempt gets partially blocked. So the score will remain 31-6, but some excitement in the air in South Minneapolis. A touchdown pass running back to tight end has the score 31-6.
Pizza lover alert, just in case you haven't heard about Umbria Gourmet Pizzeria. I checked it out myself, and I love this place. When you come to an Umbria Gourmet Pizzeria, you get a true taste of Italy. Their pizzas are made with Umbria's signature homemade pizza sauce, fresh dough, made daily, never frozen, and the freshest, highest quality ingredients. I love their pizza, and you will too. Plus, there's more. Pasta, salads, desserts, and my new favorite, the calzone. Try the Italiano. Sweet Italian sausage, pepperoni, capicoli, salami, banana peppers, red onions, and of course, Umbria's signature pizza sauce, plus Romano and mozzarella cheeses. Now, if you've been trying to get to Umbria for a while, but you have just been too busy, let them make your pizza and then take it home and bake it in your own oven. You still get that great fresh from the oven taste, but you're already at home. We make you bake. That's what they call it. Order yours today at GoUmbria.com or stop in at Eden Prairie, Bloomington, Blaine, and Eagan. Umbria Gourmet Pizzeria.
Check out the Eden Prairie location off Highway 5 in Mitchell online at GoUmbria.com.
Minneapolis South is on the scoreboard in their season opener. 85-yard touchdown catch from the tight end Ellerson Smith. One of the many two-way players for the Tigers, also a defensive end. That's his first touchdown, obviously, of the season. Last year contributed 2 touchdowns for the then 3-6 Tigers. Already, it's been a little bit of a preseason type game as far as seeing a bunch of different players on this 3-page roster of Eden Prairie. A lot of backups getting an opportunity to play again. It makes sense considering that the Eagles have another football game to play on Saturday against Oak Park from Manitoba at 1 o'clock from Prairie Stadium, which we will have live coverage of. Probably the pregame beginning about 15 minutes before, but we'll be online probably well before that as well. An onside kick try by the Tigers. A diving catch was made by one of the near side special teamers for the Eagles. Flags also flew, maybe went out of bounds. It's hard to tell from our vantage point on the rooftop of South High School as we look down on Barnard Field.
Kind of a modified floating short onside kick there. Not a true one where they try to roll it and bounce it up in the air, but that one they found a kind of an open spot on the field and went for it. It was a good attempt.
Yeah, well, you looked at the replay there. Some of the Tigers did make a good play on that. Almost like they arrived just a little bit later then, but pretty close to simultaneous with that Eden Prairie special teamer. Let's see what the official call is. 7:40 to play. Recapping the scoring for you quickly. Will Raines started it off for Eden Prairie with a 28-yard touchdown run, his only carry of the game. J.D. Spielman added a 52-yard touchdown on a punt return. Blake Cashman had a 42-yard interception return for a touchdown to make it 18-0. And Joe Harstad scored from 1 yard out, and Alec Hetherington scored from 1 yard out before the Tigers were able to punch that one through on the last possession.
I'd like to remind you that you can, of course, like last season, watch these games live at the Tavern on 4 and 5. Like last season, they're showing those broadcasts up there on the big screen, so get some great food, great appetizers. Tavern on 4 and 5, while also watching Eden Prairie football and hockey this season.
Nick Saul with the carry. Tavern on 4 and 5, Brett was mentioning. Fantastic tots, good burgers, great ambiance as well. So if you're not ever able to make it to the games and want to stay in touch with the broadcast, certainly I'd recommend Tavern on 4 and 5. Then you can watch us and the coverage that we provide.
I've been there now.
And what'd you think?
It's good food.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's only the second quarter. This is too early to be talking about food.
Well, it's like 8:30
You're making me
night.
hungry already.
Oh,
I got a long way to go.
I get what you're talking about. I was confused. I was thinking, what, your dinner
Save
time is
those
like
for
a
the fourth
Spaniard or
quarter.
something? You eat at 10 o'clock at night?
Sometimes I do.
Speaking of food, though, they got a lot of good food trucks here at Minneapolis South High School. Down there on the right side. We'll see if we can get you a shot of those as we maybe head to halftime.
4th down and 1. It looks like Eden Prairie's running back has enough.
Josh Wasdyke.
And number 35 with the carry, it's Josh Wasdyke, 5'10", 165-pound senior. Also of note, Ben Ossie is in at quarterback. He was in a heated battle with Grantham Gillard for that starting role. Ended up playing last season in 4 contests, did not attempt to pass or attempt to run, but did see some playing time in the latter stages of 4 of those football games. Trying to keep track of some stats as loosely as I possibly can.
I'd like to see your Eden Prairie stats. You're going to have about 15 different guys carrying the ball. I'm not sure if your spreadsheet there is big enough.
It's not. I only have space for 9 different running backs, and already we've seen 11. The handoff goes to the up back, and the ball comes out. Referees did not signal that the player was down, although it looked like he had been down, and the fumble was caused by hitting the ground, but won't matter. Eden Prairie able to pounce on it.
Let's take a look and see if that was caused by the ground, possibly. Oh, tough to see. It skipped a little bit at the end. Let's see if we can get one more look at that.
Yeah, way to skip it, Brett.
Oh, that's the computer, not me. I can throw that under the bus. It can't respond. It looked like that ball was loose.
He was losing it there on the way down.
I don't know. We need a better angle. It's 1st and 10 from the 43. The handoff goes to Wasdyke again.
It's funny you made the reference to an NFL preseason game. That's much like what this is turning into, you know, where you see all the guys that are trying to make the first team roster kind of getting a chance to audition out there in a game situation so that they can get evaluated and hopefully move up on the depth chart if they put on a good performance here.
Totally right.
As usual.
Yeah, Eden Prairie, yeah. OC with the pitch out. And a great job from the outside edge by the Tigers defenders. Connor Leach, the first there to make contact with number 33, Danu Williams. His first carry of the night. Had 1 rush for 7 yards in 2013.
Hey guys, I have an email from one of our frequent listeners from last season. That would be Jake and Connie Jacobs, who are related to former Eden Prairie quarterback Ryan Connolly, as they're having fun watching another game. Sophomore Kyle Connolly is Ryan's brother, seeing some time, and they said, Kevin, you are correct. Ryan is playing linebacker for your alma mater, Wisconsin Badgers.
Yeah, I'm excited. Walking on, hopefully, if not seeing the field this season, can see the field in the very near future.
Great.
I know the linebacking core is a little bit depleted for this coming season. Lost Chris Borland. Forget who the other senior was, but certainly an opportunity, I believe, for Ryan Connolly.
Yeah, and they've got a big opportunity this year now that they've realigned the conferences in the Big Ten. And we've been talking a lot about how there might be a big one on the docket when they head down to Iowa City and play my Hawkeyes at the end of the season. There's a potential that they could both be undefeated at that point. That might be a pretty huge game. Might be game day rolling into town in Iowa City that weekend.
Oh, that'd be fun for Iowa. It's been a few years.
Hey, now.
Oh, I knew we were going to get a shot there with the Badger and a Hawkeye fan here on the broadcast.
Hey. We'll see how it goes, won't we?
Yes, we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, my Gophers are just happy to get to any mediocre bowl game.
Good run on second down, keeping the shoulders square and that center of gravity low. Trying to get a number. It looks like it's number 37 or 31.
It's tough to tell when we're this far
37.
back.
Tom Swartout with his first carry of the game. I like his last name. I like puns, Brett. As you know, he touted the football. His last name is Swartout, right?
Bit of a stretch.
It is. First and 10 from the 15. Swartout again with the carry. Rather.
Whoa. Oh, man, is
Number
he still on his
31
feet?
with the carry. Jamar Burns. He got taken
What
down.
just
The
happened
flag
there? There
flew.
was flags.
And he decided to
Let's
keep
take a-
running a couple more times.
Well, Minneapolis South actually got very good pursuit of the ball here, but they couldn't quite bring him down.
They
Well,
got to be calling a hold, I think, on that one.
yeah, well, they did get a
saw
knee
that.
on the ground. Well, it's funny, he kept running, as you can see there on the replay. Trying to show that coaching staff, he's going to keep going until that whistle blows.
He's got an endless motor. That's what Jamar Burns is trying to show. The coaching staff, although unfortunately for him, his coaching staff's on the opposite side of the field.
Yeah. Well, you can't fault him for the effort. It's good.
I've now written in running backs in my receiving chart position to try to keep track of their information.
Well, a good-looking screen set up there on that right side. Gets Eden Prairie a gain of... It's tough to tell from our vantage point as we're up here on the roof of South High School, but it looks like that one went for close to 10 yards.
Yeah, it was first down and 19, so it was 10 yards. Good eyes, Brett.
Yeah, that's something you don't see out of Eden Prairie very often. The little bubble screen out to the sideline there, kind of a West Coast style play. Just getting the ball out on the perimeter there. That's not typically their style, but it was effective on that play.
So second down and 9. OC with the handoff up the middle. Good pursuit from the defensive front four by the Tigers. That'll be just a short gain. Maybe no gain, in fact, for the Eagles running back.
Now you're talking about the size advantage that Eden Prairie's defensive line had over Minneapolis South's offensive line. Look at the Tigers, though. Their defensive line, they actually have some pretty good-sized guys on that line, a couple of players that I think are over 220 pounds. So it's unusual to see a defensive line outweigh an offensive line, but that's the case for Minneapolis South.
Running back Burns sprints through the tackle and is taken down at the 11-yard line, brings up fourth down.
A nice job by the South defense there to force their first fourth down of the game.
Yep. Final 25 seconds of this first half. And Gould with an opportunity to try a field goal. We'll look for Kyle Evans to time the snap perfectly on this near side. Get a great view from our angle of him. He's currently at the 8-yard line.
Gotta hurry, only a few ticks left.
Jumped the gun early this time, and Gould will get a good look at the uprights, and he's able to pin it between them. The kick is good, 34-6 on a, what was, doing the math, 25-yard field goal. So nice job for Eden Prairie. 34-6 as you're watching PSB Media.
Be a part of the next big thing. Consider advertising with PSB. You'll reach a consistent and loyal audience for less than traditional forms of advertising, such as print and TV, and listeners will associate you with quality and reliability. When they hear your ad, they'll appreciate it and know you're helping to support and keep JFK and Eden Prairie athletics on the air. And the ad rates are never going to be lower. PSB offers 30-second audio advertisements written and produced professionally, web and banner advertising, live 10 to 15-second liners describing your business during the broadcast, and segment sponsorship opportunities. PSB offers a number of different advertising packages to accommodate your specific needs. For more information, go to psbmn.com/advertise.
And we're joined by Rob Friend at the Mulch Store. Rob, a lot of people are finishing up those fall projects, whether it's trimming trees or getting rid of all those leaves. What can people do with those materials once they're done?
Well, they can bring their yard waste into any of our locations and dispose of it for a small fee. And after it's disposed of, we then process it and turn it into compost.
It's also a very easy, straightforward process to stop in at any of those Mulch Store locations, correct?
You just pull into any of the sites, you check in with the gate attendant and pay your small fee, and you're all set to go.
And if people would like more information about the great products and services the Mulch Store offers, what's your website?
mulchstoremn.com.
When you're running the 2-minute drill and trying to get dinner on the table before the big game, go to your most reliable option, Umbria Gourmet Pizzeria of Eden Prairie. Umbria has delectable and hearty gourmet take-and-bake pizzas. And build your own options too. Go Umbria.hungerrush.com. By phone 952-374-6464. Choose your pizza and score. It's that easy. Go Umbria.hungerrush.com. Umbria Gourmet Pizzeria, Mitchell Road, Eden Prairie.
We're speaking with Rob Friend at the Mulch Store. Rob, once people have finished up trimming those trees or raking those leaves, how easy is it for them to stop in at the Mulch Store to drop off those materials, or maybe even pick up some mulch for next year?
Well, if you want to stop in and drop off, you come in, check in at the gate attendant, and they'll point you in the right direction after you pay a small fee. And if you're ready to pick up something to do a final garden or mulch project, pick out the product you want, pay for the fee, and we'll load up a trailer or a pickup truck if you have that. If not, we do have delivery available.
And of course, you guys have locations all over the metro area.
That's right. For locations and more information on delivery, you can check us out at our website, mulchstoremn.com.
Stay current on what's going on in your local community. The Sun Current is a local community newspaper that serves several communities in the Southwest Metro, including Eden Prairie, Edina, and Bloomington. The Sun Current will keep you up to date with the latest comings and goings on your school board, city council, arts and entertainment, and community events. And make sure you check out their in-depth high school sports coverage featuring weekly articles on Eden Prairie, Edina, Jefferson, and Kennedy. From football and hockey to tennis and swimming, the Sun Current has your favorite team covered. Keep it local and visit the Sun Current website at current.mnsun.com. Get a delicious meal at Noodles & Company in Eden Prairie, off Prairie Center Drive next to the Southwest Bus Station. Great food and great sports. It's the Tavern on 4 and 5 in Eden Prairie. This season, the Tavern on 4 and 5 will be showing PSB broadcasts of Eden Prairie football and hockey on their big screen TVs. So make it a night out. Get some great food while watching your Eden Prairie Eagles at the Tavern on 4 and 5. Some of their classics include the Mediterranean Pizza, Tavern Turkey Burger, as well as delicious breakfasts that are served 7 days a week. That's the Tavern on 4 and 5, just blocks from Eden Prairie High School.
The Sun Current is proud to be your community news leader for over 50 years. Each week you can read their in-depth coverage on local government, school district news, high school sports matchups, community events, and newsmakers. The Sun Current's website is now mobile user-friendly and provides breaking local news coverage daily. Check it out at current.mnsun.com. Minneapolis South's home football stadium. Eden Prairie, the visitors on top of the Tigers by a score of 34-6. Kevin Ford with your live play-by-play tonight on computer. Brett Johnson, technical expert and camera guy Mike York, along with Adam Wells, and my color commentator this evening, along with Brett Johnson, is Dr. Grant Norland from Athletes PT. In that first half, Eden Prairie showed us plenty of reasons why they are the top-ranked team heading into the 2014 football season. They were that distinction last year from week one and were one of the rare teams that held that position throughout the season. Of course, going undefeated, it's very hard for other teams to step over you, and given the way they performed week in and week out, dominating teams like Prior Lake, Wayzata in that epic game where they scored 28 points within a span of about 10 minutes on the Trojans, one of the few teams beside these Eagles to win the big school championship over the last 10 years, and a couple other strong performances as well. Kind of breezed through the state tournament as well, and despite losing quite a bit of talent offensively and defensively, been impressed with the way Eden Prairie has played in this game. They have quite a few guys from last year's squad that participated either on a starting level or in a reserve role last season, saw the field, and that certainly goes a long way, helping them perform right away in 2014. Looking at the scoring highlights, Will Raines, highly touted running back for Eden Prairie, his first year since transferring from Eastview. Had a bit of a bum ankle last season. Still, it didn't limit him too much. Produced more than 10 touchdowns, more than 1,300 rushing yards, that following a 1,500 and 15 touchdown sophomore campaign. He scored on his only touch of the night, a 28-yard touchdown run, set up beautifully by the dominating offensive line that is Eden Prairie. A 52-yard touchdown on a punt return from J.D. Spielman made it 12-0 at that point. Blake Cashman tipped to himself, caught and returned for a touchdown
An errant pass from quarterback of the Tigers, Anthony Hockett, to make it 18-0. The reason why it was 18-0, 12-0, 6-0 is the extra point in special teams of Brandon Gould struggled early on. He was able to convert a 34-yard field goal right before halftime, though, so slowly making improvements in that aspect of the game. Other touchdowns, Joe Harstad, and we had a touchdown from Alec Hetherington for Eden Prairie, a 1-yard plunge for the Tigers. One touchdown on the game. It was a running back option play to Peyton Beaudry. He rolled out right, threw into double coverage, and number 22 out there defensively, Ricky Fung, jumped, put his hands in the air, but couldn't close them together, almost like he needed to clap his hands because the ball went right between his mitts into the waiting arms of tight end Ellerson Smith, who then ran for pay dirt to get this capacity Tigers crowd on their feet in their season opener. Again, a special night for all Minneapolis South fans, honoring one of their own, Shaquem Adams, who drowned earlier in the month. His family, legacy honored with a varsity letterman's jacket. Likely would have made the varsity football team. Very tragic and saddening moment here for Minneapolis South fans, and kind of juxtaposing that, the very positive environment of playing under the lights. A lot of players, a lot of fans on hand to experience just the third time this has happened for this South community.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a great night for them. They got that big play in the first half to get on the scoreboard on that long pass from the running back. A little bit of trickery, but hey, that works. Not many teams, I think, are going to score on Eden Prairie this season with some of the talent that Eden Prairie defense has. So good job for Minneapolis South, not only scoring, but scoring against that first team defense as well. And there's some positives for Minneapolis South. Defensively, they've gotten a good push a couple of times, especially on special teams, trying to block those extra points, really throwing Eden Prairie's kicking game off. And it is what it is if you're a Tiger fan. A great learning experience for that team. And I'm sure they'll take a lot of the lessons from this game once they get into the conference play, Minneapolis City Conference, where they'll try to improve on last season's performance. Of course, the big goal for the Tigers this season would be to try to beat that Minneapolis Southwest squad. I know it's been a while since they've won against them, but nothing but positives can really come from this game when you play an Eden Prairie school. If you do it just once a season, I think you're okay. Obviously, you might run into injury concerns if you were to play Eden Prairie and Wayzata every week, but one game a year like this, I think, is a good measuring stick, and it's good for long-term development.
That's exactly the sentiments longtime head coach of this South program, Lenny Sedlock, had when talking to me last night. He says, and I quote, "I'd play them every year if Mike would let us, and it's a type of event that will not happen again in my lifetime, and it's an opportunity of a lifetime." And that's kind of the message he conveyed to his players. How often can you play a nationally ranked team? Last year, the Eagles finishing number 22 in that realm. And again, for these guys, we've got the Minneapolis Conference ahead, and even if this game ends up very lopsided in favor of Eden Prairie, the South program is excited. They yearn to play these Eagles just to kind of gain that experience and gain an understanding of what it takes to be a top-tier school. And also along the way, maybe you can learn a couple lessons to use as the season progresses to try to win that Minneapolis South Conference. Looking ahead for South, they'll be taking on Minneapolis Henry West Metro a week from Friday, so September 5th at 7 o'clock to kick off the Minneapolis Conference for Eden Prairie. A lot less time off. Apologize for that. I bumped the mic. They'll be taking on Oak Point from Manitoba Saturday, this coming Saturday, Labor Day weekend at 1 o'clock. We'll have coverage of that. usually about 12:30 from Prairie Stadium. And then they've got to play again, so 3 games in the span of just 9 days as they travel to Eastview. So it'll be a reunion for new running back of the Eagles, Will Raines, taking on his former squad. That game set to start at 7 o'clock from Eastview High School. Now it is week 1. Last week there was 0 week due to scheduling issues. A number of teams in the area played in week 0. A couple of them in the Metro West Conference, including Chanhassen, Chaska, as well as Richfield. Richfield ended up losing to Park Center, a team we'll cover tomorrow night from the Pirates' home stadium up north. They'll be taking on Bloomington Kennedy, one of our other partner schools. We also cover Bloomington Jefferson quite a bit and their entire football season in a partnership with BEC TV. So we'll have that game to look forward to you. And if you want to watch more football, you just can't get enough, even when the Eden Prairie Eagles or South Tigers aren't playing. Feel free to tune in to that one as well. Kind of breaking down the Metro West since we have a little bit of time. Chanhassen, Benilde St. Margaret's, Jefferson, and Chaska figure to be some of the front runners within that conference. But it is pretty wide open. And that's one of the true benefits, Brett, I think, of establishing this Metro West Conference. Some of these teams just kind of out of place, either regionally, geographically, enrollment size-wise, or maybe even skill-wise as well in their previous conferences. So it's good to get them all kind of together so they could have a real competitive atmosphere in that conference.
Really outside of Chaska, you're right. That should be a pretty wide-open race in the Metro West for 2nd through 8th place. And going to be some good battles out there from schools that typically have gotten blown out in their other conference games in previous years. Obviously, Jefferson and Kennedy had their struggles in the South Suburban Conference. Richfield didn't fare too well in the Classic Suburban. St. Louis Park and Cooper had their struggles in the North Suburban Conference, but now you kind of get those like-minded schools in one league and should create some competitive football games for those 2nd through 8th place spots, but I think Chaska really the overwhelming favorite to win that Metro West League.
Yeah, Chaska, 2016 recruit, offensive lineman Matt Cagle, just to be 6'5", 295 pounds, is already being looked at by the Minnesota Gophers. Got a good versatile quarterback in Justin Arnold, and Garrett Gleeden, their running back, had over 150 total yards and a loss last week during 0 week. So it should be a fun conference. Interesting to see how it plays out. Just another interesting point. Looking around the metro area, the suburban East may not be as strong as the Lake Conference at the top, but that Eastridge squad should be fun to kind of keep tabs on from afar, being in the West Metro for us. But Eastridge has 3 different athletes. Their quarterback, Seth Green, JoJo Garcia on the line, and their running back as well, all Division I recruits. A couple of them are juniors, so lots to look forward to from that Eastridge team coming up this season. Maybe they could contend when it's all said and done with the likes of these Rosemount, who returned a lot of their star players, and this Eden Prairie squad.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see. And, of course, if you'd like to follow along, we're developing a new partnership with Minnesota Football Magazine, and they'll be streaming a lot of the games in that East Metro, including a big week coming up, I think early October. On the same night, Wayzata plays Eden Prairie, and Lakeville South plays Lakeville North. Minnesota Football Mag has the Lakeville game. We'll have the Eden Prairie Wayzata game, and make sure you follow both of us and Minnesota Football Magazine, as we'll be covering the best games in the metro area all throughout the season.
Sounds good. Wrapping up our halftime. Good performance by the marching band and dance teams respectively for Eden Prairie. Tigers are racing out onto the field and trotting out onto the field as well, the Eden Prairie Eagles. So we'll keep it right here as you're watching PSB Media. Dr. Grant Norland, Brett Johnson joining me, Kevin Ford, for our first coverage of this 2014-15 campaign. It's a fun summer. Got to cover the St. Cloud Shoots. They were the runner-up in the American Legion Baseball State Tournament. They made it very far, Brett. Isn't that correct? In the national championship bracket, they almost made it to the title weekend, right?
Oh, well, they lost in their regionals. They didn't quite make it to the Legion World Series, but I believe, they were the runner-up in the Central Plains region, as they had a very good performance in Fargo for that tournament. Lakeville also had a good performance as well. Lakeville North, their Legion squad, also made the Central Plains Regional. Eden Prairie, I know a lot of fans of that squad tuning in and watching our games. They unfortunately got tripped up in the Sub-State 3 tournament, but they've always been a Legion baseball powerhouse as well.
And for all the success that Eden Prairie's Legion team has had over the years, Scott Hackett, the distinct honor of winning Coach of the Year for the American Legion this past summer. So congratulations to Mr. Hackett, and hopefully for Eden Prairie again can get back into that state tournament consideration next season. The Eagles offense onto the field as we start this second half, up 34-6. And Ossie, quick look to the outside, a broken tackle, first down and more, and plugging ahead. Being pushed out of bounds down at the 30-yard line, that catch and run by Tayson Clay. That's his first target of the game. He figures to be the team's leading receiver, one of the 3 captains of this Eagle squad this season.
On a good start for Eden Prairie to get out of the gate here with a nice little stop screen to the outside, picking up about 14 on that one, which is great for that play.
Tayson Clay, the receiver you see out there on that right side, was a starter for the first half of last season before running into some injury problems, and I'm sure Coach Mike Grant and the offensive staff happy to have him back, because on the offensive side of the ball, Eden Prairie doesn't return nearly as much talent as they do on the defensive side.
Yeah, losing Division I bound tackle Robert Olson, Division I bound Zach Hovey at tight end. Andre Wallace, a good basketball player, played some wide out. Camille Hall had all those big touchdown catches for the Eagles last season, courtesy of the strong arm from, Ryan Connolly. But this program is deep, and a lot of the guys are very capable and able, happy to step in and produce at this high level for Eden Prairie. So we'll just figure out as the season progresses which names, along with Clay's, that Eden Prairie feels most confident in relying upon.
Got a 3rd and 4.
3rd down and 4 after a short gain there.
We have a message from Jeff Athey's aunt Sherry and cousin Elizabeth. They're watching from Williamsburg, Virginia. They say, "Go Eagles." If you'd like to email us, just click on that email the broadcast booth link below your game tracker screen.
Bilal Omar on the sweep across the line. Very speedy there, able to snake his way down to about the 22-yard line and, more importantly, move the chains.
Acceleration there from Bilal Omar, running through not a real big hole, but is able to get a gain of 13 yards. Happy to have that burst of speed again. We'll need that running back position to be as successful as it was last season when, of course, the Eagles had Dan Fisher and Anthony Anderson, among others.
Anthony Anderson, I was looking at his stats the other day. 10 of 12 games had at least 100 yards, and 10 of 12 games had at least 1 touchdown. Finished with 9.9 yards per carry and 120 yards per game, so something like 1,400 rushing yards and 14 or 15 touchdowns. But more importantly, that 9.9 yards per carry was pretty impressive.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Especially for not a speed back either, 6'2", 235 pounds.
No, I was going to say it'd be interesting to see what his yards after contact were, too.
Yeah.
I think, although they always had good push, and he'd probably be 5 yards down the field before first contact, he did end up, I know, with a lot of yards after that initial contact last season.
Well, Eden Prairie's always been known as a run-heavy team. Just referencing those stats again, I think only twice last season. Once was in the title game, and once was, surprisingly enough, maybe to you, against Wyzetta, that they failed to rush for at least 300 yards as a squad. But that Wayzata game, it was so many defensive things and
Right.
special teams things that the offense, I guess, didn't see too much playing time.
That's right. I remember that game. That was gearing up to be a big showdown, and it ended up being a 42-0 blowout in the first half, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
42-0 early in the second quarter. I
That's
remember.
right.
That's what it was.
That was. It was
yeah, I was
the
thinking it
first
was only
quarter.
28. You're right. It was 42 at that point.
Yeah.
Jeez.
If you remember, Wayzata, I believe, fumbled on their first play from scrimmage on the 1-yard line.
That's right.
Starting at their own 1. Yeah, it was
That's
just Murphy's Law in that game. Of course, they're going to be pumped up to play Eden Prairie later this season up at Wayzata's place, and I believe Eden Prairie has only won, I think, once or twice all time at Wayzata Stadium, so that'll certainly be a big game later in the year.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how Wayzata shakes things up. I know they're making some changes as Bilal Omar races to pay dirt, his first rushing touchdown of 2014. So the Eagles add to their lead, now up to 40 points.
Like this combo they've used of Bilal Omar and also Harstad, who is a real good downhill runner for the Eagles, and Omar kind of complements that with that great speed, and it'll be a combo that I'm sure Eden Prairie will use a lot here as the season goes on. Looking impressive on that drive, both those running backs.
Then Olsey to hold for Brandon Gould to try up, and he splits the uprights. 41-6, Eden Prairie on top, 8:20 to play in the third quarter. You're watching PSB Media. I read your clock.
Get a delicious meal at Noodles & Company.
Gould's keeping the ball in play this time, a couple times in the first half. Kickoff specialist for Eden Prairie had illegal procedure penalties as the ball trickled out of bounds at the right sideline. The Tigers will start 1st and 10 from their 20-yard line. See if most of their starters are out on the field for the second half. Eden Prairie did a nice job interchanging players throughout that second quarter. Saw a couple of the starters back on the field to start the third, including Bilal Omar, who rushed for a 5-yard, touchdown just moments ago to make this 41-6. Hockett under center, one wide receiver split out far side. A handoff to Beaudry, trying to get a push from his smaller line, and will make it back to the line of scrimmage. I got stood up there, could not find a hole. Good job closing that one out and bottling him up by this strong defensive front for the Eagles.
I have some messages for you guys. Alice Lamont emailed us as she's watching from Buffalo Center, says, "Go Eagles." Her grandson is a junior, so might be a challenge for us to try to find a Lamont on the roster and see who exactly he is.
Let me read my scroll parchments here.
Also a message from Javon Starr. She's watching from Fort Mill, South Carolina.
We appreciate the emails.
Absolutely. Still have a few more to get to. I'll try to get as we continue here in the third quarter, guys. Again, you can email us by clicking on that link below your game tracker screen, and as you might be aware, We're covering all the Eden Prairie games this season here on PSB Media. Some of the new players on the varsity roster with their parents and family and relatives tuning in might not be aware of that, but you can tune into every single EP broadcast here on PSB Media, and should have even more enhancements to come as the season goes on. Again, didn't quite get the score bug we wanted. We were going to have down and distance on there, and we're also hoping to get you a little better camera quality as well as the season goes on. But thanks again for tuning in tonight.
Peyton Baudry after the stop from senior linebacker Ryan Christensen. Injured something, still being attended to on the fields. We use the opportunity to hear a word from our sponsors. Hopefully Baudry is all right. You're watching PSB Media.
Great food and great sports. It's the Tavern on 4 and 5 in Eden Prairie. This season, the Tavern on 4 and 5 will be showing PSB broadcasts of Eden Prairie football and hockey on their big screen TVs. So make it a night out. Get some great food while watching your Eden Prairie Eagles at the Tavern on 4 and 5. Some of their classics include the Mediterranean Pizza, Tavern Turkey Burger, as well as delicious breakfasts that are served.
The Sun Current is proud to be your community news leader for over 50 years. Each week you can read their in-depth coverage on local government, school district news, high school sports matchups, community events, and newsmakers. The Sun Current's website is now mobile user-friendly and provides breaking local news coverage daily. Check it out at current.mnsun.com. When you're running the 2-minute drill and trying to get dinner on the table before the big game, go to your most reliable option, Umbria Gourmet Pizzeria of Eden Prairie. Umbria has delectable and hearty gourmet take-and-bake pizzas. And build your own options too. Go Umbria.hungerrush.com. By phone 952-374-6464. Choose your pizza and score. It's that easy. Go Umbria.hungerrush.com. Umbria Gourmet Pizzeria, Mitchell Road, Eden Prairie.
Baudry still being attended to on the sideline. Looks like the trainer's working on the lower right leg and spelling him in the backfield. Looks like it's number 20, or Connor Leach, beg your pardon, number 27. Does a nice job weaving his way through some traffic and getting it very close to the first down marker. It's like a gain of about 6 to bring up 4th down and 2.
Well, I got a second. Let's go ahead and see if we have any more emails in the inbox. Do have a couple more, as this message is from Dalton Diamond, as he says, "You guys forgot about my powerhouse, Anthony Anderson." I think we mentioned him a few times.
Yeah, we talked about him.
Absolutely.
Talked about his
Can't forget Anthony Anderson
monster
with his
performances time and time again. Yeah, he was fun to watch. Hopefully Will Raines can be a big wrecking ball in the backfield as well.
I think Anderson's down at Iowa Western now, isn't
Yep.
he? Yeah,
Also, so is Andre Wallace for basketball.
Oh,
so.
sure.
You know, Grant, if I remember back to last season, I think we were doing a Minnetonka game, and Eden Prairie had a run that got called back, but it was one of the most incredible high school runs I had seen for Anderson. He broke like 6 or 7 tackles.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that was impressive. He was quite an impressive back. Yeah, it's a funny connection. My old offensive coordinator from Truman, where I played, is now the head coach there at Iowa Western. They won a national championship a couple years ago.
Yeah, they've always had a good team. I used to work in radio in that Iowa section of Iowa. I think we even broadcast one of their games on our radio station, and I know they've been a powerhouse for a while in JUCO.
Yeah. It's a good place to go.
So the 4th down failed to convert for the Tigers. Sweet play out to the near side. Number 38, Norwalkie with the carry.
By the way, Kevin, just so you don't search your roster for Alice's grandson, it's number 25, Lundy.
Okay.
So there you go. As you were commenting before the game, it's always tough searching out names on that EP roster when you have over 100 guys on there.
It's also difficult when all I've got is the high school classroom lights kind of to see things. And the monitor you've set up for me. 2nd down and 3 for Eden Prairie inside of 5 minutes to play. New quarterback in the game.
Oh, wow.
Just a quick swing pass to the wide receiver. Good coverage out there for number 12, Allion Mitchell. Had 2 interceptions last year as a junior. Makes a good open field tackle.
Take a look at this tackle here on replay. Eden Prairie trying to set up that screen, but did a good job reading that, getting a burst towards the ball, and good job to wrap up the legs of the Eden Prairie receiver.
So short loss on the play. The new quarterback for Eden Prairie, number 16, Sava Panic, played in one football game last year. I believe it was that section victory over Centennial.
Alec Hetherington on the carry. No gain for the Eagles.
Jackson Randall, but Savaponic did play at quarterback last season for one game. Jackson, apologize for that. Getting 15 and 16 confused.
Another senior quarterback for Eden Prairie. Getting some time.
Under center on a 4th down and 3 play. Handed off in the backfield. Initially tripped up. Spilled shy of the 1st down marker, so the Eagles will turn it over on downs. A good job getting into the backfield. It looked like it's hard to read the player's number, but one of the linebackers did a nice job coming up, timing that snap perfectly to force the turnover on downs.
Larry Combs has emailed us saying he's enjoying the broadcast, watching from Fort Smith, Arkansas. Connor Carlson is his grandson. Also a message from Lenny Sedlock's sister, and since she cannot be at the game, she's watching it online, and she says thanks for the game, and certainly be impressed by Coach Lenny Sedlock's team's performance so far in the game, showing a lot of heart and coming up with some good plays, including a nice 4th down stop a moment ago.
1st down run goes to the outside. Leach with the carry. Gains about 5 on 1st down.
About 5 yards for the Tigers.
Tigers looking to find some offensive magic like they did midway through the 2nd quarter when Beaudry, the running back, rolled out near side. Found the tight end Ellerson Smith for an 85-yard catch and run. That ball nearly intercepted as it's thrown wide receiver. And Hockett had mixed signals on that one. Closest player in the vicinity, other than the Eden Prairie bench, was number 34, Ahmed Jama.
Looked like there was some miscommunication on that play. I think one guy was supposed to break off into a comeback route, and he just didn't make that move.
Hockett under pressure, rolls out near side, searching downfield. Jump ball is broken up.
Brings up 4th and 5.
Pass intended for his team's leading receiver, Kyle Helmstetter, from last season. His name is the first time I've mentioned his name tonight. Nice job, that means, by Eden Prairie's defense in bottling up the versatile athletes, wide receiver and running back, for this Tigers team. Brings up 4th down and 5. The Tigers don't hesitate. Bring their offense back out. 4 wide receivers, 2 split out each evenly on each side. 2:52 to play in this 3rd quarter. As Hockett slings it, the catch is made by Helmstetter. No, he drops it as he was tackled. It would have been shy of the 1st down marker anyway. And both these teams now exchanging turnover on downs right around the 20-yard line of the Tigers side of the field.
Nice throw on rhythm there by Hockett. You see him take that quick 3-step drop and fire it right to the flat. Is on target, but looked like he did he catch that?
No, it hit the ground, it looked like.
Yeah, when he got slung to the ground, it looked like it popped out.
Yeah, okay.
I have a fun fact from an email, guys, about Eden Prairie's kicker, Brandon Gould. This one's from Mark Johnson. Says that congratulations to Brandon, keeping his football career alive even though he's had multiple knee injuries.
Wow.
That's tough if you're a kicker and going through some knee surgeries.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Well, play is kept alive. A couple of Tigers were on the ground. They made the initial attempt at stopping the Eagles running back.
You just mentioned, Brett, that Connor Carlson's grandpa was watching the live stream on the webcast, and now Connor's in the game at quarterback. Number 14 now, junior quarterback for Eden Prairie. Listed at 6'4", 200 pounds.
That is definitely a traditional quarterback build, 6'4", 200 pounds.
Tom Swartout on the carry for the
Swartout gets back to the line of scrimmage. That's his second or third carry of the game. And 3rd down and 7 from just outside the 20-yard line. Running time is of score differentials of 35 or more points. So the 4th quarter, conceivably, could see the running clock. As this one's winding down in the 3rd. Jamar Burns, we remember him from earlier in this game when the play was dead, but he kept running and wrestling a little bit with one of the defensive backs of the Tigers.
Yeah, I didn't see that effort this time, getting up and still running. That was still a pretty funny play, but certainly a guy that'll be battling for playing time as well here on the CP football squad. I have a moment. Also want to quickly remind you, tonight's broadcast brought to you by the Mulch Store. As we approach the fall season, you can drop off that yard waste at any of the Mulch Store locations. Very convenient, and it gets turned into compost for next year. MulchStoreMN.com for more information. MulchStoreMN.com.
A nice quick hitter up the middle there. Caught the South defense off guard. Got about a 13-yard pickup on that one, it looked like.
Graham Teal almost brought that one to the house. Just that quick handoff.
And you see the push from the offensive line of Eden Prairie. Three red helmets blowing the D-line about 5 yards off the ball.
Sweep play in the backfield. Great stop by South. Defensively, Connor Leach called his name a number of times in there defensively on the stop, along with number 31, Desmond Williams, a senior defensive back. That'll be a loss of 7 yards.
You could see the fullback made every effort to make that block there, but just couldn't quite seal him on that play. They were able to come off the edge and make that tackle.
So 2nd down and goal from the 10. Before we can get the snap, the 3rd quarter has come to a close, a little bit off synchronized our scoreboard clock, but it is the end of the 3rd quarter. Eden Prairie leading Minneapolis South 41-6. You're watching PSB Media.
We're speaking with Rob Friend at the Mulch Store. Rob, once people have finished up trimming those trees or raking those leaves, how easy is it for them to stop in at the Mulch Store to drop off those materials, or maybe even pick up some mulch for next year?
Well, if you want to stop in and drop off, you come in, check in at the gate attendant, and they'll point you in the right direction after you pay a small fee. And if you're ready to pick up something to do a final garden or mulch project, pick out the product you want, pay for the fee, and we'll load up a trailer or a pickup truck if you have that. If not, we do have delivery available.
And of course, you guys have locations all over the metro area.
That's right. For locations and more information on delivery, you can check us out at our website, mulchstoremn.com.
PSB Media's coverage of tonight's game is brought to you by The Mulch Store, Umbria Gourmet Pizzeria, Athlete PT, Noodles and Company of Eden Prairie, The Sun Current, The Tavern on 4 and 5, and in partnership with Minnesota Football Magazine.
Starting the 4th quarter, looking for some exciting things as we close out this game. A 41-6 Eden Prairie on top. Plenty more opportunities for both these sides to showcase their skill sets in this opening game of this season for each side.
Tackle by 27, Connor Reese
On
for
the carry,
Tigers.
number 31, Jamar Burns, wiggles his way for a 4-yard gain down to the 6-yard line. He's now got 3 carries for 12 yards. In relief of the starters, the expected starters for Eden Prairie this season, Bilal Omar, Will Raines, and Joe Harstad. Each one has a touchdown for this Eagles squad. That's exceeded the 40-point total as another touchdown is scored. This one by, looks like number 37. Will get confirmation momentarily. Last season, just a couple of times, including that Prep Bowl victory over Rosemount, did the Eagles fail to score 40 points. Tom Swartout records his first rushing touchdown as a member of this varsity squad. That one from 3 yards out.
Well, again, these extra points have been an adventure for Eden Prairie so far tonight, so certainly don't want to start tuning out for that, as South has made these interesting.
And the try is up, and it's converted. 48-6, Eden Prairie leads. Just inside 10:30 to play in the fourth.
And we're joined by Rob Friend at the Mulch Store. Rob, a lot of people are finishing up those fall projects, whether it's trimming.
Gould kicks off left to right, and this one will be a touchback. Good to see Peyton Beaudry back in the football game. If my eyes are working correctly, hopefully they are. I got LASIK surgery last week, so.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So if you miss a number, that surgery didn't work.
I'll blame it on my surgeon then.
How'd that work out for you?
I think it worked pretty well. I mean, I can see.
2020 now?
Yeah, I went in the day later and I saw, I think, 4 of the 5 letters pretty clearly in 2015. Nice. So
that's got to be
better
nice
than 2020. Feeling. Yeah.
No more glasses for you, huh?
No, but I'll keep them in case I ever need them again.
Yeah, sure.
The second you mess up a number, we're giving you those glasses.
Well, you got to go find them, right?
That's amazing what they can do anymore with that.
Yeah,
you're in and out, and it's like
it's
your
crazy.
Eyes are fixed.
It hurts if you haven't had it before.
Does it?
To be honest, the suction cup over your eye, not to be too graphic, is kind of painful, just like pressing down on you. But
yeah.
it's over in 30 or so seconds for each eye.
Really?
And then you just take a nap for 4 or 5 hours right afterward, and everything's pretty clear.
That's amazing.
That's my kind of surgery. 30 seconds of surgery, and you get to nap.
Yeah.
Wow. It's technology.
Got a timeout on the field. We'll take a quick break as well. 10:21 to play.
Woohoo! This is the best dead bath ever!
Larry, what's with all that racket?
I'm loving my new digs. This compost is amazing. Come on in, give it a try.
What are you talking about? Oh yeah, you weren't kidding, Larry. This stuff is great.
The Mulch Store has compost your garden, and yes, even the worms will love. Stop by any of the Mulch Store locations in Burnsville, Minneapolis, Rosemount, and Shakopee to pick up the best compost in the Midwest. Online at mulchstoremn.com. Also shop rocks, seed, soil, edging, and more. Now's the time to make your neighbors green with envy.
Store locations in Burnsville, Minneapolis, Rosemount, and Shakopee.
Pitch out to Beaudry on 1st down and 10 from the 20. The senior tailback will gain 4 yards. Started off with a couple of negative rushing plays. That's what a very good defensive front will do for you. Referencing the Eagles, but has since converted a couple of first downs through that touchdown pass and has a 15-yard run in his repertoire this evening. 9:39 to play, 42-point advantage for the 3-time Big School defending champions as Beaudry hits a naked handoff to the near side. No blockers. Connor Leach with the carry on that weak side of the football field. Doesn't break any tackles, but does pick up positive yardage out to the 32-yard line.
To remind you, tonight's game also brought to you by the Sun Current, your local community news source for over 50 years. You can find articles on Eden Prairie football and other sports. Current.mnsun.com. We also have many articles from around the community posted on our Eden Prairie football page to kind of make it your one-stop shop for all things EP sports.
Ball is loose and it's recovered. Does he recover it infield in the play? Yes, he does. A recovery by Eden Prairie's. See the number on that, but the fumble came loose from Beaudry. And then it was recovered by number 25, it appears, on the roster.
I think that's 99 I saw there for Eden Prairie getting the strip here on the replay. And
Kai Lundy or Lindy?
Lundy.
Cal Lundy with the fumble recovery.
You better not mess that one up, or his grandma emailed us.
That is important.
Yes, exactly.
Trying to put my eyes to the test in this darkness above the high school.
Well, you said you had LASIK surgery. That shouldn't be a problem.
Well, I had myopia fixed. I didn't have my nearsightedness fixed, which wasn't an issue before. Hopefully it doesn't become an issue for a little while.
2nd and 6 on the 22-yard
So
line.
the third turnover of the game by the Tigers gives this offense now with Jackson Zog, another quarterback, seeing some playing time.
Nice tackle by the Tigers.
I know he's got a recruiting page. Jackson Zog did very well last year in the football program, working his way up. 6'1", 205-pounder, though. As far as trying to get some playing time, though, this year, as you can tell, we've seen 4 or 5 quarterbacks ahead of him. So
I think he's the 5th one now. Yeah.
So a little bit of a work ahead of him if he wants to see more playing time as this season progresses, but still a good opportunity to showcase his talents. Overshoots his intended target. Number 83 on the near side, Ben Nordstrom.
Yeah, that's about the 4th or 5th time they've tried that play now, just trying to get it out to the wide receiver on that stop screen, just give him a one-on-one opportunity with that corner. But South is starting to pick up on that, and they're getting less and less open every time.
And you wonder, guys, without Ryan Connolly, a very elite quarterback from last year, if that's going to be Eden Prairie's main strategy when it comes to the passing game, is to try to use those screens and bubble screens rather than, you know, your more traditional vertical passing game that you can do with an experienced quarterback.
That's possible. We've only seen him go downfield one play so far, right?
Yeah.
That one to the tight end.
So it'll be an interesting storyline as the season develops to see what Eden Prairie does with their passing game. Obviously, they're going to be a very run-heavy team this year, but once they start playing some tough teams coming up, we'll have to see what they end up doing when they have to go to the air.
Hey, don't forget those.
Well, I think always with that very capable, good hands tight end, Josh Lanasa. Also, Jeff Athey, haven't really mentioned his name tonight. A good secondary option from the tight end position. Grantham Gillard or whoever's playing quarterback as the season moves along will have a couple good options, especially doing that play action over the middle. Sure, you can sell the play action given the amount of times that Eden Prairie is expected to run throughout the course of this season. Catch the defense off guard and at least have an open target to help your completion percentage, if nothing else. Hockett throws a quick drag to his fullback, Connor Leach, and he gains maybe a couple over and tackled by the Eden Prairie sideline.
It's a nice touch on that pass. Those are actually kind of tough to throw, that little quick swing route to the running back over the top of a defender. Is good show of his ability to put some touch on his passes.
5:33 to play. 2nd down and 7. Hockett out of the shotgun. Under pressure, scrambles right. Has some room to run, and he'll scamper out of bounds near that marker. Pretty good gain for the quarterback. That's the first time he's tried to run at all in this game. There is a flag in the backfield, though, so likely coming back going against South.
Pretty shifty run, though, there by Hockett. He's a guy that I think rushed for about 200 yards last season, so no stranger to putting the ball on the ground when he has to, but awfully tough here to run against this Eden Prairie defense, even when you're facing their second and third teamers, because they're just simply so deep.
Well, the penalty was declined. He's not paying too close attention, though, what the penalty was, so it'll be, regardless, 3rd down. And it looks like he stepped down out of bounds a little bit sooner than I had anticipated. So 3rd down and about 3 from the 33-yard line. Inside of 5 to play again with that running clock. This 4th quarter time is evaporating quickly. Time to throw the ball is also escaping Hockett, and he'll just throw it out of bounds. Threw that one deep, intended for Smith down the sideline, but not anywhere near his big tight end.
Coverage of tonight's game also brought to you by Athlete PT, and championships begin well before the fans show up. It's all about training and making sure you're physically set for the season, as it's not necessarily talent, it's the weight training and making sure you're all physically set for the year, and they can definitely get you in tip-top shape at Athlete PT. Grant, your new website name escapes me. What is that again?
It's athleteptonline.com.
Easy enough. Don't let it escape you again.
Well, I'm used to you guys being Performance Therapy Innovations, your old name, but...
Yeah, we did a little rebranding project over the last several months, and thought Athlete PT better reflected what we're all about. So.
And of course, you guys work with a lot of local athletes, and the results definitely pay off, as you really want to check out Grant Norland's facility. Been there a couple of times, and they can really get you set up for whatever sport you're playing in the coming seasons.
1st down and 10 for South. Connor Leach converted on a 4th down and 2, ran for 5. Hockett will pitch it to Beaudry. Good pursuit, and is slowing down Beaudry, pushing him out of bounds. Is number 41, maybe?
Yeah, that was a great open field tackle. It looked by Sean McNiff.
Yeah, that sounds right. It was number
5'11", 185
sure.
junior.
Yeah, let's take a look at that here on replay.
It's a great pursuit. Nice job to stick with that and hang on to clean him up there.
Yeah, lots of good form tackling so far, as expected from this Eagles bunch. Hockett airs it out, overshoots everybody by at least 10 yards.
He just not had a lot of room with that vertical passing game. He tried one earlier on this drive, but Eden Prairie not falling for it. They have a number of talented defensive backs, not only on their first string, but also second and third string, and certainly the case when you have some big names like J.D. Spielman, Matt Carson playing back there on your first string doesn't give you a lot of room. Try to move up that depth chart when you have so many talented guys in front of you.
Yeah, well, even on that pass, again, had to get it out quickly. But the 3 Eden Prairie players had already converged on the ball, so it was 1 against 3. Evans trying to go up against 3 very capable Eagles defensive players. And again, throwing it deep, overshooting his target, Smith. And it's 4th down and 13 now from the 34-yard line. Clock continuing to run inside of 1:40 to play.
And don't forget, coming up Saturday, we'll have another Eden Prairie football game coming up. Very quick turnaround. Oak Park, Manitoba heads to Erie Stadium for a 1 o'clock game. They're one of the top teams in Canada, and Coach Mike Grant said that squad wouldn't be coming down to the U.S. if they didn't think they could win, so looking forward to a great matchup Saturday. Pre-game coverage underway about 12:30 here on PSB.
Is that the team that signed Tim Tebow if he ever wants to play in Canada?
Whatever happened to Tim Tebow? What is he doing now?
Isn't he a college football analyst?
He is.
For which station or network?
He is on. I just saw him the other day, and I can't remember what he was on.
Is it a national one, or is it, like a broadcast channel?
I think it's more of a regional. I think he was on like the SEC station or something like that.
That would make sense.
Yeah, I think that's what he was on.
So
I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Moments ago, just recapping that, Connor Leach made a catch. That was the biggest pass completion of the game for Anthony Hockett, but then he fumbled. So credit to the Tigers for converting on 4th down, but unfortunately Leach couldn't hang on. Be the final couple plays of this football game, and this one's going for quite a ways. All the blockers, defensive line, offensive line, from both sides continuing to run right alongside the fullback there, and that was kind of a fun play to watch. It was like Pamplona running of the Bulls, and just a big crowd.
I think they call that student body left. Isn't that what they call that play?
Yeah, racing off to classes to avoid truancies.
Kind of looked like one of those kindergarten soccer games where everybody chases the ball the whole game.
That was Hetherington on the carry. Pretty good pickup for him. Unofficially about 29 yards. And in victory formation, quarterback Mohammed Hussein takes a knee, and Eden Prairie extends their winning streak, now spanning over the course of parts of 3 seasons, moving their record to 1-0 this season, and adding to head coach Mike Grant's victory total. He's now got 242 in his 22 seasons with the program. Final score 48-6. Eden Prairie tops Minneapolis South. Very fun to broadcast this for you. We'll have the Sun Current post-game show coming up right after this.
The Sun Current is proud to be your community news leader for over 50 years. Each week you can read their in-depth coverage on local government, school district news, high school sports matchups, community events, and newsmakers. The Sun Current's website is now mobile user-friendly and provides breaking local news coverage daily. Check it out at current.mnsun.com.
Congratulate each other right around midfield from Barnard Field in Minneapolis. Gorgeous view of the Minneapolis skyline off to the northwest. Kevin Ford, Brett Johnson, Dr. Grant Norland wrapping things up here from Minneapolis South's home stadium underneath the lights for just the 3rd time in this program's history. It was a fun game to cover. Got to see a whole bunch of different players, especially on that Eden Prairie side of things. Get some varsity playing time, see what the starters could do, the 2nd stringers, 3rd stringers, and so on down the list. A well-balanced attack from the get-go for Eden Prairie. Well-versed, it seems, with the exception of the extra points in that first quarter into the second quarter. Seemed to be really kind of in mid-season form, and for Minneapolis South, a good learning experience and learning curve for the rest of their Minneapolis conference schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. Eden Prairie is one of those teams that, you talk about teams that get into a rebuilding phase, and I think Eden Prairie is just more of a reloading team because they're playing the same offensive schemes from the time they're in 3rd grade till they're in varsity. So, I mean, it's just a matter of stepping up to the next level. You're running the same stuff, and you clearly see that in these kids. They're so disciplined in their techniques. And then, obviously, tonight they just out-physicaled their opponent. But it'll be interesting to see how they match up when they get up against teams like Wayzata and Minnetonka and some of those bigger schools that are going to match up with them a little bit better in the front, even though they may still have the advantage on the front line. But, it'll be interesting to see how they face up against some of those opponents later in the season.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Brett?
Yeah, overall, a fun atmosphere here at Minneapolis South High School. I know it's the first time they've played under the lights here at South, and good effort from a short man squad, Kevin. I think when you talked to Lenny Sedlock, the head coach of Minneapolis South, they were dressing only about 30 players, and they played hard to the end, had a couple of big plays, but good learning experience for them. And as for Eden Prairie, chance to get some of those reserves in the game that don't normally get to play against your Wayzatas or Minnetonkas, as, of course, Eden Prairie has a no-cuts policy, and it's a chance for some of those guys that have worked hard for 4 years to get on the field in a varsity football game. So I think all in all a good experience for both squads here in this Eden Prairie 48-6 win.
Yeah, it makes every second of this game meaningful, at least to somebody, some families, a couple players involved. So very enjoyable under the lights, of course, and pleasant weather here being the first week of this football season. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in again Saturday. Eden Prairie is at home for their home opener against Manitoba's Oak Park High School. And we'll also have coverage at Bloomington Kennedy and Jefferson during the week. Find out more at psbmn.com. Thanks so much, and have a great Wednesday evening.
Thanks for tuning in to live, local, play-by-play coverage of tonight's game. Catch all the action all season long on your home for Southwest Metro Sports, PSB Media. Tonight's game was brought to you by The Mulch Store, Umbria Gourmet Pizzeria, Athlete PT, Noodles & Company of Eden Prairie, The Sun Current, The Tavern on 4 and 5, and in partnership with Minnesota Football Magazine, The Pioneer Press, and BEC TV. You can find an archived broadcast of tonight's game available 24/7 on psbmn.com.